her son Noel are good friends, and they always have been. So we did go to that, and I saw her there, and we said hello. But, it was really about her son and seeing his art. He's really, really talented, and it was good to, I love her children, and I've always loved her children, and I did a lot for them way back then when everything was happening. So, which I don't want to rehash. So it was good to see her son and to kind of move forward.
That's good. So you guys, I didn't realize you saw her since. So you're in a good, you're in a good place if you see each other, right?
Yeah, we're in a fine place. I don't think it's ever going to be the same.
Right.
But at least, we have a mutual respect and understanding, I think, and maybe time has passed to where it's you just forget and you move on. But during that time, you've forged other relationships, you've grown,
Sure.
You've realized what you want out of a friendship and what's important to you. And
do you, well, I was going to say, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you think, you look at you and Luann, and that's good where you guys are, and you look at Ramona and Elise, you look at an LVP with Doree, LVP with Kyle, we can keep going. Do you think it's possible for two friends to come on or to be on Housewives together and real life friends, not for the show, and then walk away still friends? Because I just gave you lots of examples where the answer is no.
I don't. I really don't. I think production and what the expectations are from production and what the expectations are from the audience won't allow it. Because if you remain friends, you didn't do your job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that going into RHONY, and I think in my mind, I was just Luann is like my sister. I want to protect her at all costs. I wasn't a big fan of RHONY. I didn't watch the seasons. I would watch, if you read something in page 6 and there was something they almost drowned on a boat. Okay, then I would watch that episode, But I never invested time into the episode, so I didn't understand the expectations from me and what I needed to bring to the table, because in my mind, I might not have done it if it meant risking my friendship with her. So.
Really? You think you wouldn't have, maybe?
If I really understood the ramifications that at the end of this show, we will not be friends, I might not have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think everything happens for a reason. So there was a reason for everything. So I'm where I am for good reason.
I think everything happens for a reason too. And I agree with that too. Your job, it's your job, and you don't want and it's so interesting because so many housewives that are, I was talking to one yesterday from a different franchise who was only one season. Everyone has the same story of I learned. If I went back for a second season, trust me, I know what to do now and how this game works.
I had dreams about going on for a second season right after I got off, but I was fired up.
Right.
I knew I'm going to do things different. I am going to be different. I'm going to be that tough ass, badass bitch boss that nobody got to see, because that's what I finally understood that everybody wanted to see. But I didn't get that opportunity, which is okay because I left unscathed from that show. I was intact. My body parts were fine. I was all good.
Nobody gets out unscathed. If you go back a second season on, you don't get out unscathed.
I agree.
Well, that's good. Before we move on to all the projects you have going on and currently, which I do want to talk about, do you watch, I know you watch some, you don't have, but do you watch any of the new RHONY?
I watched one episode. I did. I happen to know Jenna Lyons from when she was creative director of J. Crew, because with my construction company, I was building a lot of retail projects. So I was trying to build J. Crew stores. So I was doing I was doing a lot of fashion projects, and I was doing a lot of models, renovating their townhouses. So I had called Jenna to see if I can do work for J. Crew. So, I always had a mutual respect. And we've always had a mutual respect for each other. And I congratulated her when I found out she was, a housewife. And I had met Erin at a party right before the season launched. And she's super sweet. But those are, I think, the only two people, that I kind of know or have.
Are you shocked? Like, how are you shocked? When Jenna was first announced, I interviewed a lot of people from fashion, like Nicole Miller and people like that. They were all like, we don't understand this casting. Like, how is this? I think just not even in a bad way, just like she's like a serious
Well, she's
person.
me.
Yeah.
When I look at her with the one episode I did see, you know how she was kind of very emotional in this episode and vulnerable? Like, that was me crying to Bethany. You know, when I was crying when we were on our cast trip, I really wanted to leave. And I see Jenna, like, I'm like, this girl wants to quit. She wants out. You know, that's the way I'm looking at her. Because she's a serious person. She's a serious business person. And it's very hard when you have that entrepreneurial CEO boss drive to separate and know how to all of a sudden ridicule other women and talk down to them and try and be catty and get into fights. Like, it's very hard when you have that personality, that entrepreneurial CEO personality, to all of a sudden become this other person. That's called an actress.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're not actresses.
No,
although,
you're not.
you know, I guess Bethany thinks we should be paid like actresses, right?
She does. Now, put a pin in that just for a second, because I do have some questions on that. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think, you know, do you think, because like they're arguing over cheese on the new RHONY. It's very light. You know, people said, you know, the other show ended up being a bunch of women that were always drunk. And, you know, it's very light. Like Salt Lake this season, whether you're watching or not, it's like a comedy show. It's very light.
I was just going to, you know what? I feel like from that one episode I saw, it feels very vanilla and flat to me. Like, even when I was on the season, everybody is so animated. You know, like when Sonya's falling off the chair. She's not just falling off the chair. It's like literally her whole body is moving in a million directions and she's like just plopping herself. Like, there's none of that. You know, there's no Luann falling in the bushes. There's
Bethany.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, there's no crazy eyes from Ramona. There's no animation. And people want to see that they want to like belly laugh.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where I can't believe she just did that.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that happen.
I think Bravo is going in, like, listen, I think it's almost like a reset. That's what I think. Like, I think Bravo wants no toxic, you know, no racism, no fighting families. I think they want light and bright.
Well, you know what? It's a different viewer. I think the people that were watching are maybe now getting older. Maybe they're not watching TV. Maybe they're in retirement homes now. I don't know. Maybe, you know, it's not the same customer. So maybe, and that's what, when I was cast on the show, I was hoping that I was going to be that one. And I thought when I met with production, they wanted me to be that one, to empower women to start their own businesses, to get out there and see how this single mom is ruling the world. You know, in New York City, she came from nothing. She started a construction company and anybody can do it. Like, I wanted to give and bring that energy to the viewers. But at the end of the day, maybe that's not what they want so much. They want to come home from work and they want to watch train wrecks.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe you were just ahead of your time, Barb.
I think I was. I mean, I started a line of tools.